Gemstone YouTube, that's a good idea.
Yeah, on Gemstone's YouTube account, and then in case after we can share it with participants and in an alliance LinkedIn.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good idea. So maybe we can begin. I think some people will be arriving as we go. That's absolutely no problem. So just first of all, thank you very much for being here this morning. I hope everybody can hear me okay, and my connection is okay. So this is a webinar that we're organizing with the European Cluster Alliance for Green Manufacturing, which is an initiative that was created out of the Gemstone project, which was a 3-year Eurocluster project, which has just finished. So we've continued with the same partners initially for this for the Manufacturing Alliance. So we have SIM, which is a manufacturing cluster in France. We have the Poolnet Tooling Cluster in Portugal. We have EMC2, Advanced Manufacturing Cluster in France, which I'm representing. We have Cluster Mech in Italy. We have Evoluma Industry Cluster from Poland. And then we also have Mechatech from Belgium and the Green Tech Cluster from Latvia. And I know there are representatives from all of them here who are not necessarily going to be speaking, but I'd like to say hello to them all. So the idea behind the European Cluster Alliance for Green Manufacturing is to capitalize on the work that was done together during the course of the Gemstone project, but also to open it up to other clusters who would be interested in this particular theme of green manufacturing. So webinars and trying to identify funding opportunities will be one part of it, but we also expect to have different actions related to networking, but also on a policy level. So we kind of are at the initial stages of the creation of the alliance. If that's of interest to you as a cluster organization, that's more for the clusters than the companies, don't hesitate to get in touch. We'd love to talk about how we could work on this going forward. So just to give you just an overview, there'll be a few of us speaking today. So I'm going to have a quick presentation about 20-25 minutes on European funding opportunities in the framework of maybe the Horizon Europe program. Before we go specifically to some Eurocluster projects and other projects which are currently being put in place and being structured, where there will be cascading grants which are going to be launched in the coming months and the coming maybe over the next 18 months. And so we'll be passing the mic over to in particular Sophie Smits from the Mechatech cluster in Belgium, who'll take the second half of the animation of this webinar. And then she'll also have Adèle Maillard from the Mat for EU project, Alessandra Buffa from the Power Up Net Zero project, and obviously Sophie will present the Jewel project as well, which is a new Euroclusters project, which Mechatech is coordinating. And then Laura Grandmain from the Green Tech cluster in Latvia will also introduce the Genesis project, which is just beginning also, which is not a Eurocluster, but Laura will tell us about that. And then at the end of that sequence, then we can have time for questions and answers, and also for the presentations of the expertise, as we mentioned before. So, as I said, don't hesitate. My colleagues are from the Alliance are in the conversation. Also, they can respond to your questions directly in the chat as we go along. Yeah, we're here to help you identify opportunities and to create projects. So. Without further ado, so the presentation that I wanted to just make this morning is to kind of introduce some funding opportunities. So obviously, I think you're all familiar with the Horizon Europe program. I'm not going to spend too long on it, but obviously it's the framework program for research and innovation in Europe with a €95 billion budget. What's particularly interesting for us is the Pillar 2. And just if everybody could just cut their microphones, because I have a lot of feedback going through. Thank you. So what's particular interest to us is the Pillar 2, so global challenges in European industrial competitiveness. And this pillar alone is about 50% of the budget of the program. I think it's some 55 billion euros. And then inside this, and we'll talk about that a little bit more after, but the clusters that are interesting for us within Pillar 2 are obviously digital industry and space, and then a little bit on climate, energy and mobility, and food, bioeconomy and natural. And I mean, for us, when we're talking about opportunities in green manufacturing, they're kind of the clusters that will be particularly identified. you're probably aware, but there are generally three types of projects that are possible within the framework of Horizon Europe. So we've got research and innovation actions, which would be obviously collaborative projects which are aimed for a TRL, so technology readiness level, so the level of maturity of the technology that you're developing. So between 3 and 5. There's a little bit less mature projects, and so they're 100% funded. And they're really about exploring the feasibility of new or improved technologies, products, processes, services, or solutions. Again, then because we're in TRL 3, there's obviously a lot of fundamental applied research, and then usually a validation of a small scale prototype in a simulated environment at the end of the project when you arrive around TRL 5. The innovation actions, which are obviously a little bit more mature in terms of the technology readiness level. So we have projects that will be going usually from 5 to 8 in terms of the TRL. So 8, we have done basically a large-scale product validation. We've got a prototype in an industrial setting, and we've validated the technology, and we're pretty much ready to scale up and start to commercialize. So because it's quite mature in terms of the level of technology at the end of the project, it's obviously less funded for the companies that are involved because there's less risk involved. So there's the specific funding then for 60 to 70% for profit organizations and essentially for companies, whereas obviously academics, laboratories, research laboratories, and research and training organizations will be funded at 100%. And then we have the coordinate and support action, which are generally, not always actually, but they're generally 100% funded. And they are more for kind of cluster organizations or support organizations, business support organizations, which are there to help put programs and strategic programs in place in order to help the economies of the regions where they're working to develop more generally. But it's a little bit less the focus of the presentation today. So essentially, why participate in Horizon Europe? Because there are attractive budgets and funding rates. You can have up to 100% of finance for the projects, which can be sometimes worth several millions of euros. It's a really interesting way to develop your international contact, your international network, because it's you might be a company who's never done internationalization in the past, but here in the framework of a project, you get to develop a network of actors who are particularly interested by the same subjects that you are interested by. You have the time to work with them and develop a strong relationship during the course of the project. And also they will introduce you equally to other actors in their network. So it's a really interesting opportunity to network internationally, to create, to internationalize and to develop visibility at a European level. So obviously the participation in high-level R&D work at a European scale is attractive. And then again, this idea of the British contacts with major European clients and contractors. So obviously a lot of the companies that will be involved in some of the use cases will be kind of larger companies. And so it's an interesting way to approach them also. And then the cluster support network and the members of the Alliance, we're here obviously to help guide you and to help prepare you for your project so that you submit the best possible project when the time comes to submit. Sorry. So a typical project within Horizon Europe, it's going to be about 3 to 4 years. We've got a budget usually that's somewhere between 5 and 8 million. And then depending on the financing, so either 70% funded or 100% funded. A consortium will typically be between 8 and 15 partners, and obviously there's geographical balance that has to be maintained. And this, again, we're talking about Horizon Europe projects because we're opening the door later to talk about cascading grants, which are a little bit different. Well, sorry, they're very different. But we need a geographical distribution systematically for the Horizon Europe project, so we'll have at least 3 partners from at least 3 countries. But usually somewhere between 8 and 15 partners, depending on the challenge and depending on the budget also of the project. You usually have a very strong mix of partners within the consortium. So you'll have academics, you'll have technology providers, you'll have SMEs, you'll have end users who test the technology, you'll have maybe clusters and regional authorities who work on either policy initiatives or will also be involved in the exploitation plans and the dissemination plans. But you can really have a vast variety of partners that are involved in the project. TRL levels, so between 3 to 5 or 5 to 7, or 5 to 7, 8. And then, as I mentioned before, all of the projects are very much guided by the calls. So we'll see a little bit after, but I'm sure you've all seen European calls in the past, but they're very descriptive. You've got a very clear idea of what's expected, and so your project should be a response to that challenge that's been set out by the European Union. There's 3 sections which should be evaluated then for the proposal that you send. So there's the excellence. So you have to show the clarity and relevance of the project's objectives. You have to discuss, obviously, and demonstrate the project's ambition and to what extent the solution will address multiple technological challenges and go beyond the state of the art. You have to link the proposed project and the call for proposals, which I was just discussing, as well as more generally with the work program. And then obviously the concept and methodology have to be first grade, because you're in very competitive calls against very experienced organizations, and so you have to show that your concept, your methodology for putting in place the project is going to be top of the range. Impact, so the expected results, so economic, environmental, and social, and then obviously the quality of the measures to maximize the results, so the exploitation plan, the dissemination plan, the valorization of the research results, and then the implementation is also the 3rd section. Then that's based on the quality of the proposed action. So if the schedule is feasible, the deliverables, the risks that have been identified, the complementarity of the consortium, so skills and experience, role of each partner, balance and distribution of tasks, and then obviously the budget that's been allotted per task and per partner, which very clearly needs to be in line with the ambitions of the project. So just very quickly, some advice. Obviously, you need 3 partners. In terms of consortium, you need 3 partners from each country. There should be a complementarity of expertise among the different partners. You should have research organizations to demonstrate that it's a highly innovative project. You need SMEs that are agile and that can bring new technologies, and then you also need end users that can test the different use cases that are developed in the framework of the project. But you need to get all of these actors who bring something different to the consortium and bring different perspectives and different roles. Trusting relationship and past experience from other EU projects is always a bonus if you can bring that onto your next projects. Combination of different organizations and types. So as I was mentioning, the SMEs, university, the industry. And then in terms of the significant use cases, so maybe you've got a technology that you can that you can demonstrate with different use cases. In different markets. For example, you could have use cases for the automotive, use cases for the aeronautics, use cases for example, trains. And if you can work with the OEMs from these different domains also, and demonstrate the interest and the pertinence of the technology in each, that's really a bonus for the project. Avoid geographical imbalance, avoid partners with low responsiveness. That's kind of an obvious one. And then obviously you shouldn't subcontract key tasks, because it gives the impression to the people who are judging your proposal that maybe the skills in the consortium aren't there to implement the project as planned. In terms of the proposition, you have to link it with the EU public policy objectives. You need to present the project in line with the call's expectations, which we've already talked about. Demonstrate the long-term impacts. You need to give a clear vision on the tasks and the work packages. And then obviously, along with the work packages, then a balanced budget between the partners and the tasks. It's always helpful to have the proposal reviewed by an expert, and which is something that the clusters we can help you with. We've got experts identified within our networks on all of the technologies that are related to our subjects, and so we're here to help with that sort of task as well, to make sure that the proposal that you put forward is the best proposal that's mature and as ready as it can be. Avoid unrealistic ambitions. So saying that you're going to do X, Y, Z, which is very clearly not possible within the framework of the project. Avoid just paraphrasing the program as well, giving back to them what you think that they want to hear. And avoid also minimizing the risks the challenge that will be posed during the project. In terms of the calendar, so obviously plan ahead as much as possible, identify calls as early as possible. Take time to choose the partners if you can. So participating in things like today to identify maybe people who have different expertise, or the other info days on a European level is always relevant. but try and meet as many people who would be interested by a subject as possible. Talk as well to cluster organizations, to different partners who can put you in touch with people who have the same interests, and then contact them as early as possible in order to set up the project and get it rolling, make sure that everything will be on time for the deposition. Avoid obviously writing at the last minute. Avoid handing the legal annexes at the last minute, because sometimes, and in particular, academic institutions have a long circuit that needs to be obeyed. So try and avoid doing that. And then obviously submitting on the final day is pretty much a guaranteed way to make sure that the platform breaks down and that you can't submit your project. And there's nothing more frustrating. So try and submit a couple of days before and then resubmit maybe with new versions of the project, but get something on board and get something up on the platform as soon as possible. So I said we talked just about industry-related topics in the cluster of Pillar 2. So what's the main interest for us, obviously, Cluster 4, 5, and 6. I would say mostly on Cluster 4, because that's where we have kind of the main industry topics, which are espoused, and obviously the twin transitions of digital and green transitions in manufacturing and industrial value chains. And the key themes that kind of come out from that cluster, obviously climate neutral, circular and digitized production, increased autonomy in strategic value chains, advanced manufacturing technologies, remanufacturing, upcycling, resource and energy efficiency, digital enablers, so artificial intelligence, digital twins, smart production, data, and modularization. In Cluster 5, it's not necessarily a real industry cluster because we're talking about climate, energy, and mobility, but there are a number of calls that will come out which are related to the industry. So we have things like energy-intensive industry decarbonation, new materials and process technologies, which are treated in that work program, and then obviously circular economy for industrial items. And then for Cluster 6, again, it's a little bit further away from industry, but we do have some topics which kind of overlap. So bio-based manufacturing, and then obviously things like circular feedstocks and sustainable value chains for biomaterials. So without, sorry, did I go? Sorry, excuse me. So we've done just a small selection of different calls, and I'll send these on because I don't want to spend too much time because we've got a lot of things to talk about. And I'll do a little zoom on the first two here after, but we've got things like, so these are not 100% set in stone, but the work program for 2006 foresees these calls. So they're not necessarily opened yet. They should be opening around December, January, but it's to have a little bit of a heads up. So these are the expected deadlines, as I said. So you need to check in again before submitting your proposals. But we have obviously advanced manufacturing for key products, including the use of advanced or secondary raw materials. We have with materials production of 5 as well, circular, innovative, advanced materials facilitating the transition from design to markets. And I'll speak a little bit more about the two of those. I have a slide on each just after. We have subjects related to the development of safe and sustainable alternatives to substances of concern, so forever chemicals and other potential contaminants. Accelerating the discovery and development of chemicals and innovative advanced materials through digitalization and AI. We have AI improved advanced manufacturing production processes in factories. We have subjects related to advanced manufacturing for key products, so including the use of advanced or secondary raw materials. And then we have also, getting a little bit more specific then, efficient capture, purification, utilization of CO2 for the production of competitive products. We have pilot of the science for AI pillar of the RAISE program. For large-scale products, that's around 17 million euro budget for those. Efficient and compliant access to and use of data, so AI, data, and robotics partnerships. Apply AI, so robotics for manufacturing, advanced core skills through technical challenges. And then the last just example that we've given you is obviously efficient energy input from renewables and energy management in the process industries. So these are likely to be launched in December or January. But the expected deadlines are all obviously coming up in April, and so we can send you obviously the work program with the necessary information on each of those calls if you like. But just to maybe do a quick zoom on two of the opportunities that we identified in terms of green manufacturing. So the call, so Horizon CL4 2026-01, materials production 01, advanced manufacturing for key products. So as I said, there's a total budget call for this of about 40 million, and they expect to fund about 6 projects. As I said, the expected deadline then will be the 21st of April, and this is an innovation action. So it's the type of projects which we were talking about earlier, which should go from generally around 3, 4, 5 to 6, 7 in terms of TRL. So expected results, they want to obviously enhance European manufacturing excellence, meaning Europe can produce key components, products using advanced manufacturing methods and reducing offshoring and strengthening industrial sovereignty. Essentially, talking about improved circularity and resource efficiency, so to use the use of secondary raw materials, recycled feedstocks, substitution of critical raw materials, and more efficient use of energy and materials in production processes. There's also an aspect on digitalization and smart production processes, so integration of inline metrology, quality by design, automation, digital twins, and smart factory workflows leading to first-time right manufacturing and reduced waste in the manufacturing process. In terms of the scope of the call, it's really to develop manufacturing technology for strategic high-value product components, such as additive hybrid manufacturing, polymer composite manufacturing, advanced surface treatment and structuring, inline metrology and quality control, and factory digitalization. Use of advanced or secondary raw materials, so thereby promoting circularity, resource efficiency, and reducing dependence on critical raw materials. And then this digitalization aspect, so digitalized high-performance production of key products and components. Just as noted, it excludes battery cell manufacturing. So that's one opportunity. So you're saying it's probably around the 21st of April. So if you have any ideas or any desire to reach out to European partners, don't hesitate to contact us. We can try and put you in contact with organizations around Europe who might be also interested in these calls. The second one I want to do a quick zoom on was the Horizon, so Materials Production 05, so circular innovative advanced materials, facilitating the transition from design to markets. So this is a research and innovation action, so it's a little bit more fundamental in terms of the science that's going to be applied. Again, a total budget call of 40 million with 7 expected projects. And a deadline that's expected on the 21st of April. As I said, research and innovation action, so it's going to be financed 100% for the actors that are involved in the project, whether they be academic or for profit. So the expected results, we have materials that are ready to transition from prototype design stage into industrial production and market deployment. So take advanced circular materials from lab design into scale-up. Demonstrable improvements in material circularity, such as reduced waste of virgin raw materials, increased use of recyclates or secondary raw materials, materials designed for disassembly, refurbishment, or reuse. Digital and data-enabled processes for materials, improved traceability, data sharing, design tools, fair data infrastructures enabling material redesign, life cycle assessment, and circularity modeling. Adoption of safe and sustainable by design approaches, so ensuring that advanced materials not only perform well, but also meet the environmental, safety, and health criteria, and are ready for regulatory or market uptake. Business models and value chain readiness, materials that can be integrated into relevant value chains or sectors, across sectors, sorry. So energy, mobility, medical, and with credible market uptake pathways. And then more generally, so strengthen European industrial leadership in advanced materials, so increase competitiveness, reducing dependencies, fostering innovation ecosystems in Europe for advanced circular materials. And then in terms of the scope of that call, so development of advanced materials that are circular by design, so materials engineered from the outset for recyclability, reuse, refurbishment, and reduced environmental impact. Designed for circularity of materials such as recyclable polymers, composites, magnets, or other advanced materials. Scaling up manufacturing of these materials and facilitating their path from design phase to the market, so bridging design, production, and application. And then the use of digital tools and fair, so findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data approaches, and safe and sustainable design principles across the value chains, and for medical devices, mobility, and energy sectors, again, in particular. So there are just 2 examples of calls that we've identified. So obviously there's again a non-exhaustive list. The work programs are published now for the coming year. We just don't have the dates finalized as of yet for the different calls. But it's starting to have a very clear idea of what's going to be open at what point of the year also. But if any of these subjects are of interest to you, don't hesitate to get in touch. You obviously have your local clusters in the different countries, but you can also contact internationally also if needs be, and we can help to put you in contact with partners in each of the countries that might be interested, obviously, in developing partner projects with you. So just obviously, don't hesitate to contact the clusters. We are here to help you to identify, obviously, the proposals and the appropriate funding for your projects, to find the partners for your projects. As I mentioned, we can help get an expert review of the project that you've written to make sure that it's in line with what's expected and that we've identified all the weak points in the project. You can challenge projects, obviously, with these experts. We have, for example, what we call an accreditation committee, which is there to audition and to challenge directly the people who are presenting the projects. Some clusters will be able to write or format or illustrate your different presentations or your different project proposals. So don't hesitate to reach out for that. And in some countries, in some regions, there is a financial support that's available for the preparation of your projects. And so reach out to your clusters. They might be aware of what national or regional help you can get or finance you can get to develop your project proposal and to be able to dedicate more time and more resources to structuring your proposal and putting it in place. So that was it on my side. I hope that it was clear, but we can take the time later to discuss a little bit more. And we will be obviously at your entire disposal, your entire disposal to talk from 12 o'clock on about the different things that have been presented. I seem to have run over my time a little bit, but Sophie, would you like to jump in and share your screen?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I will share my presentation. So I'm Sophie Schmitz from Pôle Mécatech, which is a cluster located in Wallonia in Belgium. We are responsible for the sector of advanced manufacturing in Wallonia, and we are also part of different EU programs. And today I will share with you some additional information compared to the one you received from Fergus. Thank you for your presentation about Horizon Europe opportunities. Now sorry, it doesn't work. Okay. I guess that you can see my screen. So, okay, I will speak about cascade funding. My task or my dissemination of information is also relevant in the framework of EDIH. It's a network about digital transformation of the manufacturing industries. And in this European program, we have the role to disseminate some funding opportunities towards manufacturing companies and tech providers. And so we make the promotion of cascade funding opportunities, which are quite adapted to SMEs, because it is the role of small consortium like cluster consortium to disseminate call for projects launched and managed by the consortia of partners with EU amount directly dedicated to SMEs and their partners. Sometimes RTOs, centers of research, large groups or corporates can be also eligible depending on various conditions and several projects and call for projects. So these cascade funding opportunities are ideal for collaborative innovation projects close to the market. So you can develop innovative and research and development on specific part of your project's concepts or manufacturing processes, to integrate or adopt new and digital technologies or other technologies that could be relevant to make your process more resilient or more effective. These are small sums, like lump sums, but you don't have to justify a lot to your expenses, and so it is relatively simple to use and simple to implement, of course. So your advantages as a SME in the Cascade funding opportunities are the following. You can receive a direct financing to develop your innovation. You have an access, of course, to the ecosystems of the cluster partners, and so to some partners to develop your innovation. The process is simple and flexible on the administrative point of view. You gain visibility on the European level thanks to the cluster partners, and the cluster can act as catalyst to your innovation projects. So this is an example of a Cascade funding opportunity developed by one of our members in Wallonia. This is Candiga, engineering. It's moving alone. I don't know why. This company received a lump sum of 30,000 euros to develop a digital twin solution for a big leader in Iceland in the medtech sector, and so they could begin the collaboration under this framework and to test the solution for the big player in Iceland in the medtech sector. Now we'll present you one financing opportunity in the Eurocluster framework, and some of my colleagues in the Eurocluster program will also present other opportunities in other value chains. So this is a program supported by the EU Commission, of course. There are 16 Eurocluster projects dedicated to SMEs with direct financing included. And you have 8 projects concerning the net zero or critical raw material acts, and 8 other value chains that are the scope of the projects. And the first open calls will be launched from January 2026. So I will speak about GWEL because Mecatech is the coordinator of this project with mainly the same actors mentioned earlier by Fergus in a Gemstone project, which was a previous Eurocluster program. We are 8 partners. We included a new one in Finland, Merinova, which is a nice area for the energy transition. So the project covers 7 EU countries, but it is open to all European and associated countries. So all SMEs of Europe can apply to the open calls that will be launched. This project is about net zero manufacturing and technologies. The duration is 3 years. And the objective is to disseminate information and support to the net zero transition in the European manufacturing sector, to support innovative SMEs in adopting and developing clean and digital technologies, and to build a European meta cluster for cooperation in this field. We have 3 pillars as activities. So a knowledge hub to disseminate information and to mentor SMEs and to develop knowledge about net zero technologies. We have a project factory to help you collaborate and find partners among corporates, SMEs, and experts. And also we have direct funding, of course, thanks to the funding window for innovative projects and collaborative projects. We have 4 key ecosystems. These are not exclusive, but we will focus our activities on those sectors of activities. And we identified 4 net zero technologies and manufacturing trends that we would like to focus on, but these are not exclusive neither. So the first open call will open in April, in springtime 2026. There will be close to 200 million dedicated to SMEs during 3 open calls. 2 open calls will be dedicated to collaborative projects between 2 SMEs, and one open call will be dedicated for what we call flagship projects or more structural projects. There will be less funded project, but with a bigger amount of money. And so you will be invited to apply, of course, in next year. We are currently working on the project, which was launched on the 1st of October in 2025. And so together with our partners, we will disseminate the information from the beginning of next year. So if you have any question or if you want first information about those opportunities, of course, you can contact me or my colleagues. So all the clusters that I mentioned here on the slide. So this is for my part. Now I can invite maybe the next speaker, maybe Alessandra or
I think
or Adele. I don't know which.
Well, I think in the order of the slides that I have, it would have been Adele. I think.
Okay.
Adele Mayer. So if you'd like
Perfect.
to sorry, I will open up the presentation here quickly. I think there was a problem with the last version that we shared. If you just give me one moment, I apologize.
Well, Fergus,
you can't see my screen yet, no?
No, not yet.
I just wanted to mention that in the chat,
Yep.
I added a link of our Alliance LinkedIn site. So you can follow already directly to our LinkedIn page, because we will be also resharing the opportunities and the relevant calls also on this site. So I welcome you to follow. And it's one of the also fastest ways how you will be able to receive the accurate information.
Perfect. Thank you, Laura. Okay. Adele?
Yeah, thank you very much. So we can see your screen, and I can start if you want to go to the next slide. So thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Adele Maya. I'm from Polymers, which is the French cluster of polymers, composites, but also rubbers. And we are having the coordination of Mat4EU, which is the Euro cluster project dedicated to advanced materials for a sustainable European future. We added some challenges of the project on the slide, as you can see here, but mostly we are going to be focused on polymers, metals, ceramics, and composites in different sectors that you can also see on the slide, that are renewable energy, construction, health, agri-food, including packaging, aerospace and defense, but also automotive, mobility and transport. And we are a consortium of 6 partners that were already involved in another project together previously. On the next slide, you will be able to find, I don't see the, yeah, perfect, thank you. The specific objectives of the project, which are to build a strong cluster-driven advanced materials ecosystems through the identification of key partnerships, but also the priorities and challenges for the research and innovation on this subject. As for the digital, but also the green transitions of the ecosystem, we are willing to support SMEs in the development of new projects and services based on the advanced materials, for sure, to reduce the reliance on critical inputs, but also of non-European technologies. We are focusing our support also on digital and sustainable transition, in order to boost the global supply, but also the value chain and markets for SMEs access with some innovative products, but also services. And we are going to as well provide some training, hands-on experience adapted to the needs of the SMEs and the ecosystems to foster the skills we have in the consortium and in the different ecosystems. We are obviously going to communicate, but also disseminate and engage other initiatives that are going to ease the networking, to extend the ecosystems reached by the project. And on the next slide, there is as well some information on the cluster that we have on the identification priorities that we have and that are going to be addressed to the SMEs. So we are going to map the key players of the ecosystem, so RTOs, but also tech-savvy SMEs and other typologies of actors, but also as previously mentioned, EDIH to support those events. We are going to organize some matchmaking events, but also financial support, but also training support. And obviously connecting with other clusters across Europe to disseminate some good practices in order to be able to identify the challenges and priorities that we have. So there is a little schema under the slide that is doing a quick overview of what I just told you. And in that objective, we are going to open some calls on the next slide. So there are some upcoming opportunities. So before the calls, we are also opening an online survey by the end of this month to collect some challenges, but also to map some key stakeholders in the European advanced materials sector that will help us to understand the ecosystem, the actual dynamic ecosystem, and of course, helping us to provide pertinent calls. And in that objective, we are going to open 2 open calls for the cascade funding. So this is dedicated to SMEs, and it is going to be published in May 2026. First, focusing on project innovation, supporting European strategy autonomy, and second, on the mastering green and digital transformation. And we added the link to our LinkedIn page, so you can also be aware of what we are doing. And just on the next slide is the contact you can reach in Polymeris to have some information on the project. As I am also doing the monitoring for Polymeris on the cascade funding, I am also aware, so do not hesitate to contact Elsa or Roxanne, but also myself if needed to help you in better understanding those objectives. And I think that's it. Maybe there is a last slide on the project numbers and identification. But thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adele, for the presentation. We may have time for questions. You'll be here until the end of the session, I think, no? Just in case anybody has any questions at the end. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the next presentation should be Alessandra.
Yes.
For the Power Up Net Zero.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Nice to be here and see some familiar faces too. I'm representing Fondazione Piemonte Innova that was established in 2003. It's a wide partnership between public and private regional and national actors working about innovation. Today we are managing the regional innovation clusters on ICT and multimedia of Piemonte region and also the national technology clusters for smart communities. But today it is a pleasure to introduce here our Power Up Net Zero applications through the European Single Market. It's an Eurocluster initiative coordinated by us we are actually addressing a couple of goals, very important within this contest. To support, first of all, innovation and the adoption of new processes and technologies that can strengthen the twin and green, the twin green digital transition. As with Power Up Net Zero, we are addressing the key net zero technologies, at least from our first analysis when writing already the proposal, from solar energy, batteries, energy storage, hydrogen technologies, sustainable biogas and biomethane, and carbon capture and storage. These are the areas that will define also the competitiveness and sustainabilities of Europe's industrial future, and we decided to address them. Through this Eurocluster, in addition, we aim also to foster the development of new solutions and innovative applications, while accelerating also their adoption across different industrial sectors, with a strong focus also on digital integration and European single market. In the next slide, you will see the partnership, the consortium, the regions that we represent, two from Italy, Fondazione Piemonte Environment Park, one from Spain, the Asociación Cluster de Movilidad y Logística, then one from Germany, the Bibucom Research, ICT Cluster Bulgaria, and from Slovenia, the TECES Green Tech Cluster. So we are also representing, you see from this slide, more developed EU regions and less developed ones. In the next slide, then you actually can see what we are going to do in concrete, starting from the project target audience. Of course, the core of this activity, as you can see from the very central part of the representation, are the companies, specifically the SMEs, working already on net zero applications, the one that I mentioned before, but also those related to the digital environment, those specifically with technical technologies, competencies already applied in net zero applications, but also those that want to start developing solutions for net zero applications. And then you see in the other let's say buffers of the picture also two other important actors to be mentioned: the clusters interested in supporting net zero technologies and their applications, as we are here today, for instance, but also the cluster networks in turn, and all the stakeholders that can somehow bring their own contributions, but also the needs related also to the wider policymaker and European goals that will address also the rest of our activity. Moving to the next slides. As I said before, you will see what we are going to do in concrete. The project will provide financial support to third party, specifically to SMEs and startups, through two open calls. And for this, I suggest you to look at on the left side, the left corner of the slide, where you actually can see the two kind of calls that we will open from late spring 2026 till September 2026. The first open call will fund business innovation services and technology adoption activities that will help companies implementing new sustainable process, products, and solutions with a 6 months duration and 20,000 funded budget. So the number should be around 19, as you can see the total budget we have for this activity, 19 SMEs and startups funded for these activities. Then the second one will support with a bigger budget. We have more than 1,500,000 euros. So we're speaking about 26 companies at least for 13 innovation projects. As in this case, as I said, we'll finance innovation projects that are encouraging collaborations and consortia. So this is why I say at least 26, there may be more, 26 companies that want to develop new products or improve already existing ones that are tackling specific challenges within the net zero ecosystem. So this slide is also representing all the process that will guide us before arriving to this core activity, as we are currently mapping the needs, asking to our clusters members, regional stakeholders, also participating to crucial events to really map the needs of the companies, but also clusters, cities, and broader stakeholders. Then we will move also to a session, as mentioned, from another Eurocluster of training, while providing training for entities, not only companies that want to know more about these technologies. And then once that we will launch and support companies with this financial support, we will also, let's say, follow at least 12 companies chosen from, let's say, the waiting list of the open calls, that one that could not access to the fundings, to support them by the consortium in searching new opportunities for their projects or activities, again, related to these net zero technologies. So that's it from my side. I hope that everything is clear. Here is our contact, and of course, we can also remain in touch via chat during the rest of the morning. Thanks.
Thank you very, very much, Alessandra, for the presentation. Very clear. And the final project that we wanted to present, and the final opportunities that we wanted to present, was Genesis. So Laura, if you'd like to take the microphone.
Yes, hi everyone. I will be very short today. Once again, I just shared with you a LinkedIn profile link in the chat, so you can directly save our project and follow up the news. And as my colleagues mentioned already before, Genesis project is not under the Eurocluster, but it's under the Interregional Innovation Investment I3 instrument program that practically is a capacity building project. So next slide, please. Yes, so as already mentioned, my name is Laura Grunman, and I am the project coordinator representing the Green and Smart Technology Cluster from Latvia. So the project's acronym stands for Greening Economy Network for Enhancing Sustainable Industrial Systems. And practically our project is focusing on bridging the innovation gap between European regions, so less developed, more developed, and those in transition. And the project is focusing on strengthening especially green manufacturing, circular economy, and digital transformation practices. And the main activities that we will do in this project will include mapping the regional ecosystems, developing S3-based roadmaps, delivering master classes, and replication plans for less developed regions. So in other words, taking the best practices from the more developed regions and bringing them to the less ones, and as well fostering the skills for the organizations as well as especially SMEs in circular economy, clean tech, and digitalization. So our three main focus value chains. Please, the next slide. So the innovation dimension of the Genesis project is practically, as already mentioned, transferring the knowledge between the regions. You can also see the consortium setup here. As already my colleagues mentioned in their projects, this transfer of the knowledge and sharing practices is very crucial and important in strengthening the common European value chains. And especially Genesis project will focus on the automotive, space and defense, transport, energy intensive, and general manufacturing industries. So practically with the focus on connecting the resource providers, technology enablers, and manufacturing end users. Please, the next slide. So apart from strengthening and facilitating the process of implementing and strengthening the capacity and knowledge exchange, our project is also having an investment dimension So here I would like to clarify that we directly not have a funding mechanisms available, but our project will focus on connecting Innovation Europe. So what it means that we will practically facilitate a structured matchmaking where we will identify the business cases, and then we will connect the participants to the relevant funding opportunities available in Europe. So here the focus is more on helping and understanding what are the necessities of yours, how we can combine a strong partnerships and collaborations, and how we can find the best funding opportunity, as for example already were presented by our colleagues. And then, to provide more support to arrive to implementation of the project. So we are also in the very beginning of our project. That's why I am welcoming you to follow and to follow up these opportunities. And most likely we will come back to you sharing when you can join the master classes, when you can join the matchmaking events. And step by step, we will find, as I've loved how already Fergus mentioned before, we will be there to support you and to guide you into this journey. And the next slide is my contact information, and as well the QR code that guides you to the LinkedIn page, and the email if you want to, you contact us, me, and to express your interest in the project. So thank you.
I stop sharing as opposed to putting on my microphone. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Alessandra, and thank you, Adele and Sophie, for the different presentations. I suppose it could be worth opening up to you. Are there any questions from our participants regarding the different presentations that you've just seen? I haven't seen any oh, sorry, I've seen one that's been answered. But does anybody maybe want to, anybody have a question that'd like to raise their hand? No? Okay. We had 3 requests to discuss expertise, so maybe we could go straight to them. The first one I had was from Georgia Canistraro. If you're still online.
Yeah, of course. Hello,
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Hi.
morning. Would you like to introduce Unimore in 3 minutes?
Okay, I just sent
No
you
pressure. Oh,
one
yes, sorry.
slide presentation, so just to see
Yeah.
what I'm gonna say.
Do you want me to share or do you want to share?
It's okay. I have it here, so I'm gonna share it. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So, okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to speak today. My name is Giorgia, and I work at the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia. In particular, I work with the research group of the Department of Science and Methods for Engineering. And our research group focuses on energy systems, and in particular fluid dynamics and analysis of energy flows in industrial processes. At Unimore, we have currently 2 active projects that are currently ongoing, primarily to Horizon Cluster 4 and 5, focusing on advanced manufacturing and energy efficiency. Looking ahead, we are preparing new Horizon Europe proposals in 3 key strategic areas, which fall under Cluster 5 and 6, as you can see in the screen. In addition to my work at university, I also collaborate with Alia Design, that is a spin-off of the company, a spin-off company of Unimore. and ALIA operates at the intersection of engineering, sustainability, digital innovation, offering advanced numerical modeling, thermofluid dynamics simulation, and prototyping to support industrial energy optimization. A key part of ALIA's expertise lies in life cycle assessment and social life cycle assessment. We currently have 2 active projects, but both at Unimore and through ALIA, we aim to contribute to the transition toward greener, more efficient, and more sustainable manufacturing. We are also fully open to future collaborations, new project proposals, and potential partnerships. So please free to contact me at the following email address, as you can see here at the bottom of the slide. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Georgia, for this introduction. I also had a request, I think, in the chat for, and I apologize for saying Ola Kunle. If you'd like to introduce Invalix.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying to get my slide across from my work.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me a moment. I'm sending
No
it
problem.
across. Yes.
And then we also had Alessandra, if you wanted to introduce quickly as well, the Piemonte Innova again, or if you feel you need to.
Yes, in case, do you want to share the slide that I sent you? So it's much.
I can, while we're waiting for Ola Kunle to send, I can share that slide, yeah. So, yep. Sorry, is it sharing? No.
Actually, the slide has mainly to do with the poons that I presented before. So maybe it's better if I add something, but in case you want to keep it as a track, I can comment a bit on it.
So.
Yeah, so basically here, once again, this has to do with the, it's also the layout has a bit thought, but yeah, by the way, once again, in this call, so the Power Up Net Zero Technologies, we will mainly address to SMEs working on net zero technologies, and as I said before, we will support via open call, both business innovation services and technology adoption activities. And on the other side, innovation projects. You can see also the different type of budget that we will fund from 20,000 in the first scenario up to 100 and 120 for the second one, for the innovation projects. The structure, as I said before, it's mainly to do with the digital transformation. We are working almost 20 years, both at regional and national level, with digital and innovation projects with both company sector, but also public sectors and university ones too. As a background, we are both we have both experience as coordinator of Euroclusters and other kind of projects, but also as of course partners. And in this sense, we are also open. So just to make this presentation a bit broader and different from the previous one. We are also open at working with the new project proposals having to do with the twin transition. So maybe also this can be something in common with some of you. We have experiences, of course, in several horizon clusters. And more recently also on Interreg, both Europe, Central, Alcotra, Erasmus projects, while also European Digital Innovation Hub, and this kind of open calls, Eurocluster supporting via open calls companies. So in case also for us, we are also searching for a new cause to address. We entered, as you saw from the slides from Laura, also in a I3 with Genesis project. We are also part too. So yes, more or less, I was not so prepared for this part, so probably I didn't understand well this slide.
That's okay.
But it's to
That's
say
okay.
that maybe also given the context with the other participants, we will stay in touch and being open for other opportunities.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much, Alessandra. Olakunle, did you get? Do you have the presentation, or do you need to? You don't have to use the presentation if you don't want to. There's no obligation.
It's all right. I'd like to use it. Just a sec. Let me share it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please let me know when you see my screen.
It's charging and it's loading.
Is it showing now?
Not yet, but I feel that something's coming. But
If it's not showing, I will just kind of like keep talking over it to not waste our time. Yes.
yeah, I think it's not going to load.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
it may look like it was going to, but then and now it's just dark.
Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing then. So
Okay. We can try again.
yes, but it's okay. I don't want to waste everybody's time.
That's
Yes.
quite
So
all right.
yes, my name is Olakunle Kayode. Once again, nice meeting everybody. And I'm based in the UK. I'm one of the co-founders of Envalix. My other colleagues, one is based in Netherlands, the other one is in Germany. What Envalix is focused on biotech innovation in plastic degradation and polymer production. Oh, sorry. So, there's an echo there. So yeah. So yeah, we are focused on plastic degradation and polymer production. And our mission is to turn mixed plastic waste into certified high-value polymers. Sorry, because I'm talking now without my slides, so I just need to bring it up.
Right.
Yes. So yes, into high-value polymers by using enzyme-driven depolymerization and modular upcycling. How are we doing this? We actually using Polygen AI and Polysim physics for precision enzyme cocktail design, formulation, as well as deployable performance. I would like to go into all the details, but I don't need to kind of like bore everybody with the technical details of how we are actually doing this. But why our solution matters is what I would like to talk about next. Is because it enables recyclates from previously unrecyclable streams of plastic waste, and then to so enables production of virgin-like polymers and lowers energy and carbon dioxide versus chemical routes that are kind of like the traditional, one of the traditional routes that are currently available in the market. And in terms of traction, we are already developing our Polygen. And then we are also kind of like working with some other partners to kind of like do lab validation of our concept. And then the techno-economic analysis is ongoing, as well as the life cycle assessment, which is in progress. Essentially, why are we here? We actually open to partnership for pilot design and commercialization of our project. So that is who we are. And in terms of contact details, we are the founders. We are three. Like I said, our email address is just founders@envalix.com. And the website is the same as well. So www.envalix.com. So if anybody is interested,
you can put it in the chat, maybe.
I will do that right now. Thank you so much.
So click straight through.
Thanks a lot. So I'll put that in the chat, and that's just about us, Envalix. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be looking forward to any useful partnership. Thanks.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Ole. Would anybody else like to introduce their company or their organization? With or without a presentation, there's no need, no obligation for slides. No? Okay. Well, I suppose we'll leave it there. So thank you all very much for participating. So we've recorded the session. Laura, I think you've got some ideas about how we can share the presentation afterwards, or the recording.
Yeah, we will manage the technical part, but you know that, like I said to you, follow the LinkedIn page, and most likely the link of the recording will end up there. So that's my kind recommendation for all, because it will be useful for you for the future activities, future information. Always remember the Green Manufacturing Alliance is there for you.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. And so thank you to all my colleagues from the European Cluster Alliance on Green Manufacturing for the help in preparing the webinar. I will send you the slides if everybody is okay for that. I'll send on the slides that we used afterwards, and this afternoon you should receive them. Because I think I'll need to do a little manipulation, because I think some of them are quite large, so I'd like to compress them a little bit before I can send them on. So this afternoon or tomorrow morning. And then, yeah, we're all available for any questions you might have to discuss your green manufacturing projects or your ideas or your challenges. So don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for everybody who presented today, and don't hesitate to reach out to them should you have any questions. And yeah, we're available for whatever you need. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day, and hope to speak to you all soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Fergus.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.